Sponsorship, Sales, and Activation Interview 2. This is Steve Brown, Chief Revenue Officer with the Atlanta Gladiators. About Steve. Steve has had an extensive background within the sports world, starting off as the Director of Business Development with Professional Golf Travel for 2 years. After that stint, he would then start his career in sales, becoming an inside sales consultant for the Charlotte Hornets for 9 months, an inside sales rep for the PGA Tour for 7 months, a sales associate for the Wells Fargo Championship for a year and 7 months, and a premium sales consultant for LA Stadium and Entertainment District at Hollywood Park for 2 years. He would then go on to sell premium seating packages for the Boston Bruins and Boston Celtics. After his time there, he transitioned into hockey, where he was the director of sales for the Maine Mariners and accomplished the largest amount of FSE revenue sold in franchise history. Now he is the chief revenue officer for the Atlanta Gladiators, where he is currently turning around the program for the better after a failed previous ownership. And these are some key points that I took during the interview. Starting off with brand awareness. Companies want as many eyeballs on their product as possible. The more people that notice them will lead to more people that wonder about how that business can impact them for the better. This leads to more revenue being generated for them. They want 100,000 people to view them, not just 100. These businesses track their reach and visibility through sponsorships. They use metrics such as social media impressions, website traffic, and the use of discount codes. Companies also want to be charitable and have growth opportunities within the community. They want to have a positive reputation in the community so that their brand is held to a high standard. Another key point is creativity. Being creative sets you apart from other organizations seeking sponsorship deals. Unique interactions from activation stay in customers' minds, and they can associate that with brands. The Gladiators have an activation with Kroger called Chuck a Puck. Fans get to throw a foam hockey puck onto a target on center ice for a chance at a Kroger gift card. The fans must make it onto the center of the target, and is a very difficult thing to do. As the season goes on, and if no one has hit the target, the price of the gift card continues to rise after each game for the chance of a huge total at the end of the season. It's something fun, and it's something that fans can associate with Kroger, bringing Kroger more attention and more revenue. Another key point is keeping businesses happy and not creating false promises. Steve mentioned how the previous ownership created a lot of false hope with different companies. They promised businesses different perks for sponsoring them, but didn't fulfill a lot of them. So Steve had to personally meet with these companies and figure out how to get them their perks and keep them happy for the relationship of the organization and brand to further continue. And my last key point is constantly reach out to companies. Just because a company turns you down in the beginning doesn't mean that they will later on. You should always try to reach out to these companies and pitch to them how the relationship can benefit both parties. Companies want to make revenue, and if you can convince them how you are able to do that, then they will sponsor. But you must also execute, and in order for the partnership to actually be successful, instead of how the Gladiators' previous ownership was, where they promised a lot but didn't fulfill a lot. And the most important thing that I learned during the interview was creativity. You must be creative within the sports world. For the Gladiators, they really have to be creative, considering that they are in a huge sports market and they are relatively unknown against some of the competition. They're competing against the Hawks, Falcons, Atlanta United, and the Georgia Bulldogs. So they have to have different ways to separate themselves from these established programs. These organizations are vying for the same pool of potential sponsors as the Gladiators. Standing out can be a challenge since these are well known organizations, but if creative enough, it can benefit the company. In summary, the interview with Steve was great, and I soaked in a lot of valuable information from him. The knowledge that I gained from him will be put to great use whenever I start my career. I've learned more about sponsorships, and it has become a path that I'm willing to learn even more about and pursue a career in. Overall, I would definitely do it again, and I would even ask more questions and try to get an even more in depth understanding of the field.